drops to 73. Tomorrow's a clone of today. Mostly cloudy skies, solid chance for afternoon and evening storms, and again, the high is 89. Low 90s for our highs the rest of the week. About a 30 to 40% chance we get more afternoon downpours. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports Talk Media Network here on a Talking Tuesday. It is great to have you with us wherever you happen to be. Sit back, relax, enjoy the program, participate if you so choose. Phone number 888-898-2525. Our text line number 803-900-4847. Phil Kornblut here in Columbia with Josh Cohen, the plumber, the producer. And from the Bergie Palace over in Sardis, Chris Bergen on board with us once again. Of course, today, the day that we knew was coming, it still hurts to hear the news that Jim Toman passed away. And after a very courageous fight with brain cancer that they knew from the beginning was not going to be curable, but they did everything they could. Recently went into hospice, and news came out this morning, Diamond Prospects putting the news out that Coach Toman had passed away. And, of course, we send our best to all the family members and all the associates of Coach Toman across the state of South Carolina. We'll have Coach Monty Lee with us at 7:05 tonight. He coached with Coach Toman together at South Carolina on Ray Tanner's staff. We reached out to Ray Tanner, and he communicated with us. And he put out a statement that we'll read. I invited him onto the program, but it's a very emotional day for him. He considered Coach Toman to be a brother, and a very emotional day for him, so he politely declined coming on the air. But Monty Lee will join us 7:05 to reminisce about his days coaching with Jim Toman. Bergie, I got to imagine those had to be some fun days. First of all, they were building something special at South Carolina. And Coach Toman being the type of character that he was, I imagine they had a great time in the locker room and on road trips and things like that.
I really like the letter, I guess is the best way to describe it, that Ray Tanner sent out today, because it was written directly to Jim Toman. It wasn't a situation where he was sort of eulogizing him in third person. I mean, it was like a letter that Ray Tanner probably sent to Jim Toman 50 times during his lifetime. Mm-hmm. And you could tell how much it meant to Ray Tanner to have lost a very, very close friend. It's a tough day. There's no question. I talked to a good buddy and colleague of ours, Daryl Warran, a little bit earlier this afternoon. Daryl was at NC State when all those guys were up there, and he's been friends with Toman for, 30, 40 years.
Okay.
And so, he's even considering, he's out in Alabama now, he's even considering whenever the funeral is, making the trek to come to pay his respects. So I think Jim Toman touched a lot of people's lives, not just here in the state of South Carolina, not just baseball, but overall. And when we had him on the program, it was always a lot of fun. Whether or not we actually talked anything of value for baseball, it was always a lot of fun to have him on the show.
Absolutely. Great character, great baseball guy, great eye for talent. I mean, he was the guy that went out and spied a lot of those players that came to South Carolina and became great players and helped get the Gamecocks to College World Series 3 years in a row. He wasn't part of the group that won national championships, but he laid the groundwork along with Ray Tanner and those other coaches. He helped build it. He just wasn't there to reap those particular benefits, because he became the head coach at Liberty, where he did a terrific job there, went to 2 NCAA tournaments, was the Big South Coach of the Year. Then he goes to Middle Tennessee State, which was his last coaching stop, and since then, he's been sort of traveling, working as a scout. He's got a son who's in professional baseball who's tracking his progress until, unfortunately, it was, if I'm not mistaken, this is 2026. So I want to say it was around sometime in May or June of 2025 when we got the news on this, because he was with us, helping us with our coverage of the regionals and the College World Series. And I remember he called me one day and he said, I'm not going to be able to continue. They've told me I've got brain cancer. I mean, he was very blunt about it. He said, they've told me I've got brain cancer and I've got to go to Duke and start having treatments.
There's no soft sell when you have to explain you've got that hideous disease. And Daryl was asking me that question. He said, how long ago did Tillman announce he had brain cancer? And Daryl thought it had been about 2 years, but I didn't think it had been quite that long. But still, it's hard to believe it's been over a year.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a courageous fight, uphill battle the entire way. I mean, hats off to Tillman. We're going to miss him. There's no question. I can't imagine what his family's feeling, being around him all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think you got a sense, even if you weren't a member of the Tillman family, you kind of get a sense of how he touched people's lives by what Ray Tanner had to say a little bit earlier today.
Well, let's read that. This is what Ray Tanner, if you haven't had a chance to read it yourself, I know a lot of you have, but some of you have to work. You don't have time to look at the internet all day. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you the things that you don't have time to get to. So here's what Coach Tanner posted on social media through USC. Jim, what a great ride we shared. By the way, I love the way you pointed that out, Bergie, that he wrote this to Jim Tillman. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in some third person. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it begins, Jim, what a great ride we shared. I coached you at NC State. You became team captain, and I knew you were destined for great things. You joined me in the dugout at State, and when we made the move to Columbia, I knew Gamecock baseball needed you here with me. We spent 11 years together at Sarge Fry Field. We won a lot. We carried on the proud tradition of Gamecock baseball. I always knew how deeply you cared about our program. Gamecock Nation saw the passion and fiery competitiveness that our team witnessed every single day. Let me stop right there and say, I think that's one thing that made him a favorite of both Gamecock fans, College of Charleston fans when he was an assistant there, where he was a head coach. I mean, when he was coaching third base, he didn't back down from an umpire, an opposing team, an opposing coach. I mean, he was always willing to step into the fire to support his team, and I think the fans loved it. Continuing from Ray Tanner, together we built on the foundation. Even though you weren't in the dugout when it happened, we don't win back-to-back national championships without you. You helped build what became a championship program. Your vigor, intensity, enthusiasm for Gamecock baseball were unmistakable, and everyone who knew you saw. You went on to become a successful head coach and a coach of the year. To me, you're my coach of the year every year. We shared a special bond through team travel, recruiting trips, practices, and the long conversations afterward where we talked about baseball, our dreams, and life. We are all indebted to you for the impact you made on our lives, players, coaches, staff, and fans alike. Your health struggles over the past year may have taken away your ability to pursue your passion for baseball and life as you once did, but those of us who truly knew you know where your heart always was and always will be. We will miss you, Jim, but we will never forget you. Rest in peace, my friend, Coach Tanner. That was very well written.
I agree. And like I said earlier, I really liked the idea that Ray Tanner actually was writing that letter to his friend.
Yes.
Whether or not it got posted on the internet, I'm sure that was obviously the intention. But when he was writing it, he's probably thinking, "I'll just go, stick this in his casket and he can have it for eternity." Because this is me talking to him.
Well, I would hope that letter, hopefully, was sent in advance. Well, can you send a letter like that in advance to somebody and have it read to him? I would hope.
That's a tough call.
I mean, Coach Tillman, he knew the deal. He knew what was going on. And, I think maybe he would have appreciated it had that been the case, had somebody read that to him. All right. So, again, so sorry to hear that news this morning. Just sort of was a bummer. Just a bummer makes the day a bummer when you hear something like that. But on to other things. Coach Tolman would not want us or anyone to dwell on that. He would say, move on, big guy. Let's get to the next thing. So our phone number, 888-898-2525, and our text line number, 803-900-4847. More football talk, of course, coming up tonight. Going to check out Vanderbilt, and also we're going to check out NC State tonight from the coaches. Josh Harris from Darlington, 7:35 tonight, as we are basically a month away. We're right at a month away from the Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington, so we'll talk more about that coming up. And, of course, we are on the precipice of the start of college football practice for South Carolina and Clemson. Other teams in the state, some other teams in the state are underway, and some other teams will get started maybe next week. And, of course, the high schools are fully underway now, so things are happening all over the place. You can feel it, you can smell it, you can sense it. Maybe that was the plumber I was smelling. No, that was football. I was smelling football. It's in the air. Football is in the air. There's, it's like this time of the year, you kind of feel like, not to take away from any other quarters of the year, the 4 quarters of the year, not to take anything away from the other quarters of the year. I mean, baseball is important, basketball is important, but, football, everybody gets intense. Everybody is tuned in. Everybody is focused when it comes to football season. They want to know everything that's going on. They want to know who the starters are, the backups, the injuries, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, they had another injury scare today in Charlotte. Xavier Legette suffered a stinger going up for a pass in the end zone, came down hard on his shoulder and back, and needed some help getting off the field, but I think he walked off on his own, but they diagnosed it as a stinger. You're not going to see any of the Panthers frontliners, Bergie, when they play the Rams. Is it the Rams? Yeah, they're playing the Rams. No, the Cardinals. I'm sorry. They're playing the Cardinals Thursday night in Canton. You're not going to see any of the frontline guys.
No. And I don't quite understand that, but I'm not an NFL coach, and Dave Canales knows his team a whole lot better on what he needs to see. But Panthers also had a offensive lineman who retired right after practice today, LeBrian Ray. Not a name I'm overly familiar with, but so he retires. They've got to make some other moves. I tell you, the Panthers front office has been about as busy as the team has been with regards to the injuries they're dealing with, trying to get everybody massaged through, and then obviously they're dealing with this situation. So
I'm telling you, if I'm coaching an NFL team, if I'm running an NFL team, I'm not playing a single starter in the preseason, those 3 games. No, sir. I'm not playing a single starter in those 3 games. I'm not playing my quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Nobody. I'm not risking injury in a meaningless preseason game. I can see all I need to see in practice.
All right, and I think your approach is probably what Dave Canales and 31 other NFL coaches think. Well, what's the point? But how much pressure do you believe the owners put on the coaches to at least in one of the preseason games play the frontline guys, because we're charging the fans a ridiculous amount of money to come watch these meaningless
exhibition games? They're stupid enough to pay it. They're stupid enough to pay it.
Yeah.
There's a sucker born every day.
I can watch the first quarter on television and then move on.
I mean, seriously. If you're dumb enough to pay regular season prices for a preseason game, you love football and you love your team. And more power to you. More power to you. The owners know that you're the addict and they've got the drug. And, I mean, you as the addict, I guess you don't care, what the quality is, as long as it's the drug, and the drug is football.
It's a great analogy, Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
I mean, watered down or not, they've got it, and you'll pay for it. So, but I wouldn't. I hate preseason football with a passion. I'm so happy
me too.
that they cut it down to 3. I'd like to see them eliminate it. Really, I mean, these guys get enough work in camp. If nobody's playing preseason games, if everybody's got to throw a team out there like the colleges do, then everybody's even from that standpoint. So,
you could also feel, in that regard, you could condense training camp, because if you didn't necessarily have to get ready for the Panthers, they had to start practice, last week, get ready for Thursday. You could almost start about the same time the colleges could, and you still have an extra week before the NFL season kicks off.
Why do Major League Baseball teams need 6 weeks of training camp in Florida and Arizona? to get ready for a baseball season.
They don't. The athletes do a much, much better. This goes back to probably, when I don't know if they even had training camp back then, but when, Mickey Mantle and those guys were playing, they had to get back into shape. That's what training camp was for.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't work out 12 months out of the year. These guys stay in peak physical shape the entire year. They could probably roll from the, World Series break right into the opening game, and you wouldn't see them miss a beat.
I agree.
Their timing may be a touch off, but it wouldn't take very long for them to pick that up either.
Year-round conditioning is what these guys go through. They got their own personal trainers.
Exactly.
They stay in shape. They stay on top of their game, et cetera, et cetera. And, I mean, I wonder if all that training, and then you come up and you start the regular season and you see, guys pulling this muscle, pulling that muscle. I mean, I don't know. Are they overworking themselves in spring training? Are they not doing some of the right things with their trainers? I don't know. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe it's just an accident that, Aaron Judge cracks a rib swinging the bat. I guess there's no way to prevent that sort of thing from happening. But listen, I don't want to mess with spring training. And it is because it gives us our first taste of baseball after the long winter holiday. Of course, it'll be shorter next year because the Major League season starts March 25th. Next year. Did you realize that? Major League Baseball's opening night will be March 25th of 2027.
Please tell me it's in like Chicago and play a Wrigley Field a night game on March 25th.
I believe I think it involves the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think
that works too.
Does it involve the Yankees and the Cubs? Why am I thinking the Yankees and the Cubs on opening day 2027? I could be wrong. Plummer's looking it up. While he does that, let me mention one more story before we go to break. The Coaches USA Today preseason top 25 came out today. Of all the meaningless polls that we have now, this is the most meaningless because it's done by who knows who does the voting for the coaches. Do the coaches actually vote? Do their communications people vote for them? Do they give it to a trainer or manager on the team? Hey, go fill out my ballot for me. Who knows? You think a coach is taking time out to vote? But anyway, Clemson is 23, and South Carolina received enough votes for 50 points, which put them at 31 overall. Ohio State was voted number one with 38 first-place votes, followed by Oregon with 6, Georgia with 7, Texas with 2, and Notre Dame with 5. Indiana is ranked 6th, but got 14 first-place votes, the second most. Go figure. Then it's Miami and Texas A&M and Oklahoma and Ole Miss rounding out your top 10. Alabama, Texas Tech, LSU, Southern Cal, and BYU round out the top 15. Then it's Michigan, Penn State, Tennessee, Washington, and SMU, the top 20. Utah, Iowa, Clemson, Houston, and Missouri round out the top 25. Louisville, Florida, TCU, Illinois, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So South Carolina would actually be 30th. I think I said 31. They would actually be 30th in the poll with 50 points, tied with Arizona for that particular spot. Yes, sir.
Opening night is March 24th. That's on Netflix, and the teams have not been announced yet. And then on the 25th, there are 14 games being played.
So it's the 24th.
The 24th, technically, yeah, but they haven't announced the game or who's playing. And
okay. For some reason, I thought I saw where the Yankees were in it. But one other note related to this poll, Bergie. So Clemson's season opening opponent, LSU, is ranked 13th. 7th-ranked Miami is the only other preseason top 25 team on the Clemson schedule. South Carolina's schedule has number 3 Georgia, number 8 A&M, number 9 Oklahoma, number 11 Alabama, number 18 Tennessee, and number 23 Clemson. Now, you want to tell me who lives in the tougher neighborhood? Clemson don't want none of that neighborhood. They don't.
Earned history, chased glory, lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, here to share some great news. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, can now be used for a lifetime of learning. From K through 12 to college and beyond, saving tax-free for your child or grandchild's education has never been easier. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax-deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college today at futurescholar.com.
All right, we're back on Sports Talk on this Talking Tuesday. Lots of ground to cover. 888-898-2525 if you want to join us. Open for your phone calls. You can get right through. Our text line number is 803-900-4847. You can always get right through on our text line number, which is, of course, brought to you by Larry Lucas State Farm Insurance. Switching is easy. Bundling can save you hundreds or more. Just go online to LarryLucasAgency.com or give Larry or his folks a call at 803-799-1998 for the Columbia office, which is like, I could hit the Columbia office probably with a good 5-iron. A little 5-iron fade, I could put it right on the roof from here.
4 blocks away?
Yeah, 5-iron.
It's less than a mile.
Little 5-iron fade. Or
he's counting on it bouncing on the street, Josh, and rolling.
I'm counting on it bouncing down Gervais Street.
The golf ball might get stolen. You got to be careful.
And the Lexington office is 803-359-0770, 803-359-0770. And, of course, our dial-in number, 888-898-2525. That is a South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Learn more about the lottery's impact at scheducationlottery.com/educationwins. Playing for fun is a win for education. Clemson basketball today. Clemson basketball, a winner today. How'd you like my headline on our story?
I love the Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci. I had to look up how to spell it. Actually, I just copied and pasted it. Clemson basketball, a winner today over a team from Italy, so they finish up their tour. 3-0, they win 99-54, and it was the freshman, Harris Reynolds, led the Tigers with 18 points. They had a bunch of guys in double figures. Chase Thompson had 15. Dallas Thomas had 15. Cole Serta had 16 and hit 4 3-pointers. He was 4 of 9. Harris had 3 threes. Chase Thompson had 3 threes. They were 13 of 30 from 3. So the Tigers shot, for the game, they shot 53% and 13 of 30 from 3, 14 of 24 from the line. I mean, they totally dominated 99-54. I think they were up 29-4 or something in the first quarter.
Yes. They shot almost as good from the field, though. The one thing Brad Brownell is going to be disappointed about, and, coaches always are, two things, actually. The 21 turnovers in a game they won by 45 and the 58% shooting from the free throw line. I mean, clearly they're not winning ACC games playing like that, but Orange won Bassano, I don't think is going to make it into the ACC tournament this year.
Did Clemson pick out a team to play that had the name Orange in it just because it's orange? I mean, if it was Garnet won Bassano, would they had played Garnet, or if it were Blue won Bassano? No, they chose Orange won Bassano. All right, so Tigers go 3-0 on their little excursion. Wonder how much wine they drank while they were in Italy. You don't go to Italy without drinking some wine, from what I hear. We'll have Gamecock basketball tomorrow, be meeting with Lamont Paris, and we'll be back.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy overnight, showers through midnight possible. Our low drops to 73. Tomorrow's a clone of today. Mostly cloudy skies, solid chance for afternoon and evening storms, and again, the high is 89. Low 90s for our highs the rest of the week. About a 30 to 40% chance we get more afternoon downpours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
President. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Maryland voters will decide in November whether to clear the way for a new congressional map that would favor Democrats in all 8 of the state's U.S. House districts. If voters approve the constitutional amendment that lawmakers voted Tuesday to put on the ballot, a redrawn map could kick in for 2028. Democrats now hold 7 of the House seats. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has cleared a critical hurdle in his bid to be confirmed to the post after swaying Republican holdouts on a Senate committee to advance his nomination for a floor vote. The Senate Judiciary Committee voted 12-10 along party lines Tuesday in support of the nomination of President Trump's former personal attorney. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 907 points. The S&P 500 advanced 136. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Deer season starts now at Palmetto State Armory with the Deer Season Kickoff Sale. From now till August 9th, gear up for this year's season with 10% off all hunting clothing and hunting accessories. Looking for a new hunting rifle this year? Shop our great selection with great prices, like a .308 Ruger American rifle for only $5.99 with 10% off select accessories with purchase of the rifle. Make this deer season your best one yet during the Deer Season Kickoff Sale at your local Palmetto State Armory.
If you're juggling multiple credit card balances and you're feeling overwhelmed, high interest can add up quickly and it can become stressful to control. Now through September 30th, 2026, well-qualified borrowers can pause interest when they transfer credit card balances and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months. A balance transfer can help simplify your life, making it easier to focus and manage your budget. This limited time offer can help you move forward with confidence and less worry. Plus, with fewer due dates and less interest to worry about, you can spend more time focusing on what matters most: your goals, your family, and your financial future. Upon expiration, APR will then revert to the standard variable APR currently 12.5% to 17.90%. If credit criteria are not met, 17.9% APR will apply. Don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
Talking Tuesday here on Sports Talk. Phone number 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Sometimes I'm accused of giving it too fast. 888-898-2525 is the phone number. Phil Kornblut here with the plumber. Sheldon's with us here as well. How many more visits do we have from you, Sheldon, before you have to go back to college? A couple more weeks?
He's leaving on my birthday. He just celebrated a birthday.
Did you? Well, happy birthday.
His 21st.
You turned 21? Yes. You're now totally legal? Pull that microphone over, Sheldon. We can't hear you.
You're on.
Let's put Sheldon on the air.
Totally legal, 100% now.
Oh, well, how about that, man? Well, don't get too crazy. Down in Tampa. You go to USF, right?
Yeah.
You're a Bull?
I'm a Bull.
You're
through
a Bull?
and through.
You like USF?
Of course.
Yeah. It's a good school. And your birthday's when, Plumber?
That's irrelevant information.
Well, I just thought you brought it up. You said it's my birthday, so why is it irrelevant since you brought
August
it up?
the 15th, if anybody wants to send cards or
August
anything,
the 15th?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. But anyway, enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Let's see. What else we have for you? And thank you, Sheldon. It's good hearing from you. Furman is ranked number 3 in the preseason United Soccer Coaches Top 25 poll. They're returning all 11 starters from last year's team that went 16-2-5.
That's really good.
Really?
That's incredible.
Yeah. All 11 starters are back. How about that? But as a Furman fan would say, that's great, but how about a baseball team? We had that story. Online that Furman put out about raising all this money. And
that's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And somebody commented, well, let's get a baseball team again, which is a real shame. Furman, you got all that money. You could spend a little bit of it on baseball, can't you?
And here we've been talking the last couple of weeks, Phil, about how great the coaching is for college baseball now in our state across the board, whether it be D2, junior college, or certainly at the Division I level. Yeah, it'd be nice to have Furman in that mix.
Yeah. I mean, I hate, going through the season and looking at games and scores. I go across the upstate and I always say, okay, let's see, I got Wofford, I got Upstate, got Winthrop. Who am I missing? Oh, of course, Clemson. Who are we missing up there? Presbyterian. Furman. Where's Furman? Got no Furman score, because they don't have a team anymore. Still got a stadium. Still got a baseball stadium. Can't believe some of you rich Furman people haven't coughed up enough money to support a baseball team up there. Come on. You got plenty. Got a beautiful new arena, boy. Have you been to see Ammons Arena since they redid it?
I have not since they redid it. I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Yeah, are y'all playing Furman this year?
Haven't seen Coastal schedule yet. All I know is Duke and Tennessee and Wisconsin.
That's
and all
enough.
the Sun Belt teams.
That's enough to chew on right there. Tennessee took a hit at corner as Jadaeus Richard, transfer free agent from Miami, is going to miss the season with an upper body injury. VolQuest citing sources with direct knowledge. Injury took place while he was home, training at his own, and he's already had surgery. Free agent from Miami arrived at Tennessee back in January, and he played a limited number of snaps in 25 as he's recovering from a torn ACL. So that's tough. Recover from one injury and then go down with another. The legal situation involving players wanting to go back and play a fifth year, and the NCAA and the District of Colorado judge, all this is continue to percolate. Plaintiffs in the District of Colorado case with the class of 2022 athletes were granted an extra year of eligibility, filed an emergency motion to enforce the preliminary injunction. This is from Darren Heitner, who kind of became attorney for the stars of the NIL world. I mean, this guy came out of nowhere when NIL was created and positioned himself as both a defender of the athletes and also as an educator for all of us who don't know anything about the law, because he's constantly posting about these injunctions and these temporary restraining orders and explaining. So he's done a good thing there. These athletes, in this particular case, he writes, they seek an immediate order directing the NCAA to, number one, stop blocking class members from negotiating or accepting roster spots at any D1 school that wants them. Two, issue clarifying notice to schools that class members are eligible at any available school. And three, report the actual process for an athlete to sign for a fifth year, whether returning to their prior school or transferring. See, the catch here is, and what we didn't know when the judge issued her order on Friday night, and I was looking at rosters and theorizing who could do what, what I didn't know, and it came out later, was that you had to already be in the transfer portal previously to be able to go to another school, to a different school. Otherwise, you could only go back to your own school. And what Heitner is arguing and what he's trying to get now is basically a pass for the players to go anywhere, knocking down that rule from the NCAA. So, we'll see if this is another block by the NCAA that is overridden by a judge somewhere.
I would say it's a high probability. And Darren Heitner, I think part of his, and you're right, he's done a terrific job of educating all of us, but there's no question he's in it for one thing, and that's to make a lot of money off the backs of the athletes he's representing. Mm-hmm. And I think he's all about the chaos. He wants to see there are no guardrails at all in Darren Heitner's world. He wants to have the athletes to be able to do whatever they want, regardless of how it might affect other teams, other schools, the whole nine yards. So, yeah, this one's going to be interesting, and I'll be fascinated to see now that we get a chance to visit with Ryan Beard tomorrow at Coastal and then Dabo and Shane Beamer on Thursday. Now that this ruling has come out, I wonder how much conversation that all those coaching staffs have had about maybe trying to reel one of their former players back in.
Well, here's a case in point. Jaden Lucas, former Tiger. I know he wasn't great at Clemson, had a lot of injuries and never really materialized into that five-star ranking that was assigned to him in high school coming out of Malden. Be that as it may, he signed an undrafted free agent contract with the Titans. He was waived by the Titans. He's in that 2022 class. So by my understanding, he would be eligible to return to Clemson with this new ruling. And if they get this other injunction, he'd be free to go anywhere. I don't think he had his name in the free agent portal. So, I mean, if you're Dabo Swinney, if you're Tom Allen, the defensive coaches, and you see a Jaden Lucas who obviously is older, bigger, physical, and just went through an NFL camp for a little bit, could you use him in your secondary? Once again, would you look into that?
It's a great question, and I don't see why you wouldn't explore the possibility and gauge Jaden's interest. I'm thinking, though, Clemson right now, South Carolina, Coastal, whomever, they're all at the current roster limit, right? I mean, they would have to cut somebody off their current team to bring Jaden Lucas back in, correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know the answer to that either.
I don't know. I don't know I don't know where they are with their overall numbers totally, and cutting players or putting players. There's a label that you can give to players now when they're not on scholarship or they're kind of like walk-ons, and but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that would work in handling your roster in this particular case.
Yeah.
But I think if I'm them, I mean, if he expressed interest in wanting to come back, I think I'd at least have to take a look at it and see how it works and see if it's something that's doable. Furman coach Clay Hendricks announced the hiring of Philip Duke as the program's new director of operations. Duke graduated from Furman in December of 25 with a degree in applied mathematics. We mentioned earlier that Xavier Leggett, according to Dave Canales, had a stinger. He was checked for a concussion but cleared. This happened in practice earlier today. NASCAR announced schedule for Daytona in 2027. The Clash is going back to Daytona this year in 2027, Bergie.
Yay.
It's been away for 5 years.
They keep moving that thing. They keep moving that thing every year. Just settle on a place. Daytona makes the perfect sense.
Yeah.
Let's go back to having everything down at Daytona. Let's go through speed weeks like we used to have years ago, and let's just start the season there.
Yeah. I'm for the 2-week. I'm for the 2-week run at Daytona like that. I thought that was always great. February
I think the teams
13th,
probably liked it too.
Yeah, February 13th under the lights at Daytona, the night before the Super Bowl. How about that?
Interesting.
You mean the Super Bowl's on Valentine's Day night? Oh, my. You talk about the ultimate conflict. The Super Bowl is on Man Guilt Day in 2027. That's you're going to see some real doozy fights coming out of that. Anyway, it will run on the oval. The eligibility for the invitation-only event still to be determined. All right, now timeout. I mean, NASCAR and their invitation-only event and their all-star race, two different things. It's the same drivers you see every weekend.
Right.
I mean, seriously. Who are they going to invite that's not already running in the Daytona 500 or hasn't run the complete series the year before? It's like the all-star race. What's the difference in the all-star race than than racing at Martinsville or anywhere else? It's the same drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody get left out? That's a regular driver? I mean, I know they have like a preliminary race and you can race your way into the field and all that kind of stuff, but I think you pretty much got the same guys. And also the second race at Daytona in 2027 is going to be in August. Looks like it's going to be, I can find the date. I think it's going to be like the weekend before.
The 28th.
So that'd be the weekend before Labor Day.
Yeah, just like it is this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the Clash is going back home to Daytona. I used to love the Clash when the Clash was, when they would, that's how you always started the racing season. It was like a 50-lap race, maybe a 75-lap race or something like that. It was really fast. And it kick-started the season. It generated the interest in NASCAR. One more note came out really last night. Gamecock basketball. This is reported by a guy who covers college basketball for some organizations. And he says South Carolina will host Southeast Missouri as part of its non-conference schedule on Sunday, November the 8th. Sources tell at Mid-Madness. Mid-Major Madness. You probably subscribe to Mid-Major Madness, Bergie. First ever meeting between the two teams. Can you tell me the nickname of the Southeast Missouri team?
Southeast Missouri Bears. Is that right?
I don't know. Isn't that where did Coach Beard came from where?
Missouri State.
He came from Missouri State. Not to be confused with that.
I think they are the Bears, actually.
Missouri State's the Bears, right?
I think that's right, yeah.
Plummer, what you got?
The Southeast Missouri Redhawks.
The Redhawks.
Redhawks, there we go.
All right, the Redhawks and the Gamecocks. Redhawks, Gamecocks. On a Sunday afternoon, November the 8th. They're going to pack them into the CLA to see that one. There's no doubt about it. Former Gamecock tight end Nick Muse signing with the Lions as he continues his career after he was released, I think most recently by who just released him? He'd been with the Vikings. He'd been with like 2 or 3 other teams, so now he is with the Lions. Okay, let's run to the break, and we'll be back with more here on Sports Talk. Going to dive into a little Vanderbilt football, hear from head coach Clark Lee, as that rebuilt Vanderbilt program is built for the long haul. They're not talking about just a year or two run of success at Vanderbilt. They're thinking big, and they're thinking big long term. And Clark Lee, a Vandy grad who nobody had really heard of coaching-wise, I guess you'd heard of him when he was at Notre Dame as, defensive coordinator, but nobody really thought he'd be this successful. Be right back.
Earned history. Chased glory. Lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is here, and as you get ready to go out on the water this spring and summer, make sure you have all the required safety equipment on board. Check for a sound device. A horn or whistle will suffice for most boats. Inspect all of your life jackets. Make sure they're in good condition and are the correct size for all of your passengers. If your boat is over 16 feet, you will need to make sure you have an approved throwable device on board as well. Remember, boating safety is no accident.
Plan your summer getaway with Founders Federal Credit Union. This year, make your dream adventure a reality with special rates on recreational vehicle loans. And for a limited time, we'll beat your current rate by 2%. Whether you're interested in an RV, motorcycle, or a boat, and you're envisioning a cross-country road trip, a weekend escape to the mountains, or spontaneous journeys wherever the road might take you, Founders makes it easy to finance your dream vehicle. Enjoy the freedom to explore, knowing you've locked in a great rate. Our team is here to help you every step of the way, from application to adventure. Don't let high rates hold you back. Let Founders help you save and get moving on your next big journey. Visit foundersfcu.com/RV loans for more details. Promotional rate ends July 31st, 2026. That's foundersfcu.com/RV loans. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
Another hot day in South Carolina. Best way to cool off is to just jump into the beautiful blue Atlantic Ocean. And it's really more gray than blue, but it's still beautiful. And most of the time, it's kind of cool. Now there'll be some days that the water's a little bit warm, but for the most part, it's pretty comfortable out there.
84 degrees, the ocean temp at Myrtle Beach today.
Okay, that's not bad.
No.
That's not bad at all. I mean, because who likes to jump into a cold bucket of water? You like the water to be kind of, warm. And then when you stand up, of course, and the ocean breeze blows against your sunburned skin, it feels really good. So you get the picture, and you can enjoy all of this and more, but you need a place to stay. So call Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate or online at pauliesvacationrentals.com, and they'll take care of that aspect of everything for you. 843-237-4246. If you're thinking about maybe a fall or winter vacation, hey, how about it? 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com for your perfect beach getaway. That's Jimmy Smith, James Smith Real Estate. All right, Vanderbilt, Berge, Clark Lee. He's not taking a back step. He does not believe that they were just a flash in the pan.
No, he does not. And pulling out his best Ben Stein impersonation, this is a guy who's measured in every word he says. But a couple of weeks ago at SEC Media Days, he said, don't sleep on Vanderbilt. We are a different program now, and we are not resting on what we did last season.
Our objective remains what it's always been, to build the best football program in the country. And while progress is
and how different this offense is going to look without Diego Pavia, I know it's an understatement to say that he did make this offense look a little bit different than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, well, first of all, you're from Huntsville. Do you want to talk about Candace Lee? Because I'm happy to talk more about. Okay, I appreciate the question about the running back room. You know, I think there's so much attention being given right now to how this offense will take shape, specifically who's going to take the snaps. And though that is an important question, what I'm more interested in ahead of training camp is how is this team strengthening in all the other areas that will support that position. So, you know, the mission is winning. That certainly hasn't changed. Does winning look different from year to year? Absolutely. It's our job to pivot and adjust and to unlock the potential of each team. So what are we going to do defensively? You know, how are we going to perform better on third down to generate more possessions, to limit snaps, to limit points, and to get opportunity to an offense that I know is going to have the ability to move the ball. In special teams, we've been really strong over the last few years. Jeff Lepak does an incredible job. You know, what are we going to do with our punt return unit? We got Martell Height taking the punt returns. Obviously, Cole Adams got experience with that too, but we didn't unlock the potential of that unit last year. So when you talk about punt return, you're talking about establishing field position, taking some pressure off the offense. Offensive line play. You know, I think we replaced a lot of snaps with a lot of snaps, and I think we feel really good right now about where that group is, and I have total faith and confidence in Coach Klanakis and Jeff Nady, who are helping to lead that room. How are they going to win the point of attack and establish a line of scrimmage dominance that allows for this run game to get going? Because Cedi Alexander and MK Young are two of the best, most talented backs in our conference. And if all of a sudden these things are falling into place and we're strengthening in those other areas, you've just lifted burden off the guy that's taking the snaps. Now, the offense will be different, right? And Tim Beck has proven his ability to adjust and adapt. Look at 2024, you're going to see an offense that looked like an option team. And we were grinding out clock and shortening games, and that's how we won. You look at last year's team, you're going to see an offense that absolutely exploded in the opposite direction, right? We went with tempo. We threw the ball vertically down the field. And that is both Tim's vision and that is Diego's growth. I think all those things are signals of program strength. And so the running back room is going to be a big part. But again, the guy carrying the ball is only as good as the people moving the line of scrimmage. If we can establish a great run game in front of the quarterback, I think that we take pressure off and we allow the ball to be distributed to the perimeter in ways that we can become the explosive team that we've been. But all of that is out in front of us. I'm excited for the challenge, and I know the team is ready to redefine what winning is going to look like, knowing that certainly we got a big gap to close, but we have a bunch of guys that have been working in the shadows over the last few years that will finally get spotlight turned to them that I think will be good for Vanderbilt football.
All right, there you go. Clark Lee looks like, in all likelihood, they're going to have a freshman at quarterback, very highly recruited guy that South Carolina was in on until he decided to stay home in Nashville and go to Vandy, Jared Curtis. So you're talking about going from, a grizzled old guy to a brand new guy, but a guy who's very talented, a runner and a thrower. He mentioned Cedi Alexander is back at running back, so that gives him a star player back there. Former Clemson safety Ricardo Jones is back there at free safety to probably be the starter back there for the Commodores. So they open up with Austin Peay and then Delaware and then NC State, and then they go to Auburn. If they're good, Bergie, they could be 4-0 before they go to Georgia.
Exactly, and it's an amazing job that Clark Lee has done at Vanderbilt, but he reminds me so much of Ben Stein's character in Ferris Bueller. I mean, you listen to this guy and you wonder, how in the world does he motivate a team? But boy, he's done a great job in doing so.
You can tell he went to Vandy, and we'll be back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities have a suspect in custody in one of the wildfires that have destroyed some 700 buildings in and around Spokane. Spokane County, Washington Sheriff John Knowles says they apprehended the suspect after a citizen tipped off police.
The witness, a citizen, very good citizen, noticed a male standing on the side of the road looking into the trees as he was going to pick somebody up. About 10 minutes later, as he was coming back through the area, he noticed the male was bending down near some grass. At that point, the male stood up and looked very nervous, according to our citizen witness. At that point, the male walked away. The citizen returned to their house. A short time later, after being at home, they saw smoke coming from what they believed was the area that they had seen the male bending down by the side of the road.
Aaron F. Farinacci was arrested Monday and booked on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire. The Senate Judiciary Committee votes 12-10 to advance the nomination of Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to the full Senate for a final confirmation vote.
The nomination will be favorably reported. The meeting's adjourned.
Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley of Iowa announcing results of the vote to advance the nomination to the full Senate. Tuesday's vote followed a deal struck late Sunday between Blanche and two Republican senators who threatened to block his confirmation until Blanche formally rescinded a $1.8 billion fund meant to compensate some who felt they were unfairly targeted by the Justice Department. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
A good day on Wall Street with the Dow up by 907 points. The Nasdaq rose 671, with the S&P 500 index advancing by 136. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at two different options: debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement. And remember, Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
The latest job numbers dipped slightly since June. More from correspondent Lisa Dwyer.
U.S. job openings fell slightly in June, but the labor market continued to show resilience in the face of an economic shock from the fighting in Iran. The Labor Department says that employers posted 7.36 million vacancies in June, down from 7.5 million in May, but still in line with expectations. Layoffs were little changed at 1.8 million. Openings rose at warehouse, transportation, and utility companies and at federal government agencies. Openings dropped at wholesalers and manufacturers of non-durable goods. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
25 states sued the Trump administration Monday over its latest tariffs, calling them a pretext for replacing import taxes the Supreme Court struck down in February. More on these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy overnight, showers through midnight possible. Our low drops to 73. Tomorrow's a clone of today. Mostly cloudy skies. Solid chance for afternoon and evening storms. And again, the high is 89. Low 90s for our highs the rest of the week. About a 30 to 40% chance we get more afternoon downpours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is a Talking Tuesday, hour number 2, Sports Talk Media Network. A lot to do, so let's get right into it. Let's welcome in to the program one of the big names in baseball in our state. You know him well as the former head coach at the College of Charleston, former head coach at Clemson, former head coach at South Carolina, assistant coach at South Carolina, and now back at Charleston as an assistant coach. Former standout at Lugoff Elgin in baseball, little football too, and probably did some other things as well. And we're here to talk about his good friend and a man who really, in the baseball circles of South Carolina, was a good friend to everybody, really a good friend to everybody, Jim Toman, who passed away earlier today after a battle with cancer. We welcome Monty Lee to Sports Talk once again. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Phil. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you for being with us. I know it's a tough day across the state for anybody who was close with Coach Toman, even if you weren't all that close, but you were involved in baseball in some way, and you either followed the Gamecocks or he came to recruit you or he came to talk to your team. Everybody's sort of touched by what has happened with his passing today, and I know you were very close to him, having worked with him at South Carolina. And so your emotions today, your thoughts today about his passing.
Oh, man. Part of me obviously is very, very sad to see Coach Tolman pass just because of what he meant to me personally, how much of an impact he made on me for the 5 years that I worked with him. I learned so much from him, developed such a great friendship with him. So part of me is very, very sad, but, we were telling Jim Tolman stories today. We had camp down here at the College of Charleston, had a little high school camp, and we were all sitting back there, telling Jim Tolman stories today, once we found out, about Coach Tolman passing. And, it also brought up just so many wonderful memories and just so much fun. I mean, I had so much fun working with Jim Tolman for those 5 years. And I don't know anybody that's worked with him or knows him that didn't just absolutely love him. I mean, he was larger than life. He had a huge personality, incredibly funny, brutally honest. He was brutally honest. And he was an incredible recruiter. He just, he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. And I can tell you this, I can honestly say this. If you look at those teams from 2000 at South Carolina, all the way through the teams that won the national championship, South Carolina is not South Carolina baseball without Jim Tolman. He was such a huge part of the program and what he did and the impact he made from a recruiting standpoint, a coaching standpoint in the program that I don't know if it can be said enough how important he was to the run that South Carolina made for that decade.
What made him such a good evaluator of talent?
Well, he was a simple man. Like, he was a simple evaluator. He taught me a lot about evaluating players. He liked guys that were physical. He liked guys that hit for power. So when you would go to a game, he wasn't going to sign anybody that couldn't hit. Like that was one of the things, and that was kind of the hallmark and the signature of those teams for Coach Tanner in the 2000s, was just how offensive and physical we were. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing that stood out about those teams, was just how big and strong and physical and offensive they were. He just knew what he liked, and once he evaluated a player and felt like he was a fit for the Gamecocks, I've never seen somebody better on a visit. He would keep kids laughing. He was great on the visits. He had a kind of an uncanny ability of making sure you had a good time on a visit, but also making sure that you were not going to leave Columbia without committing to the Gamecocks. It was a really interesting dynamic of watching him, and how he would get a kid to commit. He would push kids to commit, while they were on campus, and he was dang good at it. But man, it was something else going out with him, going to eat with him and spending time with him. I mean, between the mini meals I had with him at Bernie's Chicken and Pizza Man on Rosewood Drive, we would absolutely kill. I think I weighed about 215 to 220. I was about 10 pounds bigger than I am now when I worked with Coach Tolman, just because of those massive lunches that we would have. But honestly, guys, there was just nobody like him. That's one of the things. There will never be another Jim Tolman. There's never been another Jim Tolman. He was just such a unique human being, and he was incredible in the dugout. Like, he kept the team loose, and he was great at firing the guys up. He was just one of a kind.
What were some of the conversations like between Coach Tolman, Coach Tanner, yourself, when you were making decisions on players that he wanted to offer? Would you guys have discussions about it? Would he have to win an argument? Would you have to try to talk him out of it? What were some of those conversations like?
I'll tell you this, when it came to making decisions on who to sign and who to recruit, there was really no arguing with him. Like, he was going to tell you why we are going to offer him and why we are going to sign him. One thing about Jim Tolman is he was very convicted in what he believed in, and he was going to give you his opinion, and whether you liked it or not, he would basically tell Coach Tanner, "We're signing this guy. This guy can help us, and we're going to sign him. I've already offered him. I want you to call him, and he's going to commit if he talks to you." And he would just tell Coach Tanner, "This is what we're doing," and Coach Tanner oftentimes would go, right along with it, because he knew how good Coach Tolman was at evaluating players and recruiting players. So, a lot of times there wasn't a whole lot of discussions. I'll tell you that. It was more, this is a kid we're going to sign, and that was it. I mean, Phil, my first year there, we started off in SEC play 1-5 the first 2 weekends in 2003. He was so mad that we were playing bad that the next 2 weekends he didn't come to the series. He left and went recruiting, and we actually signed some of the key pieces that helped us get to Omaha in 2004. Because during those 2 weeks, he left and was not with the team and went and recruited junior college guys while every other recruiter was, with their team playing baseball. That was Jim Tolman. If he didn't like what he saw with the team, he would leave. He would just leave the program and go recruit. And he was dang good at it.
Visiting with Monty Lee, talking about Jim Tolman, who passed away earlier today. Can you name one of his greatest off the radar recruits? Somebody that
Yes.
we didn't know anything about, and he turned out to be a stud.
Well, I'll tell you one of the best stories, and this is the truth. This is an honest-to-God story. This is the truth. So if you remember, there was a pitcher at South Carolina, and I was with him for 1 year. I think it was 2008, maybe 9 and 10. Jay Brown, right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
That was in the team. So Coach Tolman was at Young Harris Junior College. It's no longer a junior college, but it used to be a junior college powerhouse. We got Billy Buckner out of there. Nick Markakis played there. Anyhow, Coach Tolman was at Young Harris watching them play, and there was a right-handed pitcher on the mound. And Coach Tolman really liked him. And all the other pitchers at Young Harris were sitting behind home plate, and they were charting, velocities and, this, that, and the other. They were just sitting there. And Coach Tolman asked the pitcher sitting there, it's like, "Hey, is this the best pitcher you guys have? I really like this guy," talking to the other pitchers. And they told him, "No, sir, this is not the best pitcher we've got. Unfortunately, the best pitcher we got is hurt right now. He's rehabbing an injury, and he's working the concession stand. His name is Jay Brown." This is the truth. This is the truth, honest to God. And he knew he wanted to offer the kid who was pitching, and we did. We did offer the other kid too. The other kid wound up going to Mercer. I'll never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned around and immediately went to the concession stand and started recruiting Jay Brown, who couldn't even pitch in the games. He was running the concession stands during the games. And that's how Jay Brown wound up coming to South Carolina.
How about that? How about that?
Yeah. That's it. And that is an honest to God truth. That's a true story.
Well, you said earlier, Coach, how much Coach Tolman liked to eat. Maybe that was actually a pretty good place to recruit kids from.
Oh, yeah. I sat at a game with him one time. We were at High Point. And High Point, the stadium, the concession stand was up at the very top of the stadium. And, you know, it was a pretty steep hill going down to the field. And we were all sitting there watching games. And Coach, every time they would open the door to the concession stand, it would creak. It had like this. It was a big wooden door that they would open and clip to hang it up so people could, you know, go get food. And he would hear that door creak, and he kept looking. And then, you know, it would creak again, and he would keep looking. And I was like, big guy, it's going to open at some point. Just relax. They're not going to go there. But it was like 9 a.m. He was ready. He was ready for some food. So he loved to eat. You know, the amount of pizza the man could eat is legendary. I actually saw him when he was on the Atkins diet. He went on the Atkins diet, and he would eat a whole pizza, just the cheese and the toppings. He'd get extra meat on the pizza and wouldn't eat the crust. And it was great. It was great. He said, "Hey guys, look," he said, "I can eat all the pizza I want, and the weight's just falling off of me." He was a beauty. He was a beauty.
Back to his baseball prowess, Coach. I've often heard that very, very successful head coaches, like say a Ray Tanner, had to have somebody on the assistant coaching staff that would tell him the truth. Was that one of maybe the best attributes that Jim Tillman brought to the Gamecock coaching staff?
Well, one of the things that I loved about working for Coach Tanner is that Coach Tanner would give everybody a say. Like, Coach Tanner did not want yes men working for him. So we all were able to give our thoughts and our opinions. But as a young assistant coach, you know, I was never going to disagree, so to speak. You know, I was going to respectfully give my opinion on things, but I was the last guy to speak just because of, you know, my rank on the staff. And Coach Tolman was the exact opposite. If he didn't like what, you know, one of the coaches said or what the opinion was of somebody else, he was going to tell you. And that's all. And Coach Tanner appreciated that Coach Tolman was always going to be brutally honest with him and help him make the best decisions that he could for the program and for the team. And I think the fact that, you know, they had worked together for so long, he trusted Jim, and he would listen to Jim. And it wasn't that they ever really argued. It was just, they just didn't agree all the time. And they respected each other so much that they were both simply just trying to get it right. That was the thing that I really loved about working with those guys, is it would look like they were fighting or arguing at times, and they weren't. They were just having, you know, friendly disagreements, respectful disagreements about things. And, you know, eventually, you know, Coach Tanner would make the final decision, and it wasn't personal. You know, that was the beauty of that staff, of working with those guys, was just how they communicated so freely with each other. And boy, did it work, guys. I mean, you look at how good the Gamecocks were, you know, during that time period. It was, you know, and it was because of just, you know, how good Coach Tolman did at recruiting, and how well everybody worked together, and how much freedom Coach Tanner gave us all, you know, to do our jobs and do it together.
Did he recruit Jerome Peters?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he recruited Jerome Peters. And I'll tell you, that's another great thing about Jim Tolman. You look at some of the guys that Jim Tolman recruited that didn't start out their careers doing very well. You know, Jerome Peters hit like 180 his first year at South Carolina and like 30 at bats. And then the next year, he's the SEC Player of the Year. Now, who does that? You know, think about Timmy Whitaker. Here's another great story. Landon Powell came in his freshman year, Landon Powell didn't play his senior year of high school, enrolled at South Carolina early, and they thought, Landon was going to be the starter. And Timmy Whitaker, here's a fifth-year guy, Timmy Whitaker, who had never played. All of a sudden, Landon struggles as a freshman. Timmy Whitaker gets in there and plays and is like an all-conference player, gets drafted and plays professional baseball. It's just there's story after story of these great players that came in, and they may not have had success early on and wound up being just studs. And that was Coach Tolman. He could find guys like that. He could find guys that sooner or later they were going to wind up being really good players for you. And he did it an awful lot.
Yeah. Have you heard anything regarding the funeral plans? Anything for the public?
I have not. I talked to a couple people close to him earlier today, and I don't know if the family has necessarily decided yet. Where that's going to happen. Jim was from Pennsylvania, so don't know if it'll be back home or in the Columbia area. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just not real sure, to be honest with you.
Well, we appreciate you being with us. I know it's not easy to talk about the loss of a close friend. I reached out to Coach Tanner earlier today, communicated with him a little bit, and it was for him like the loss of a brother. You imagine that Coach Tanner is taking it pretty. I don't want to put words in your
100%.
mouth for him, but he's probably taking it pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, look, Coach Tanner, if there's any man who is loyal, to a fault, it's Coach Tanner. Coach Tanner was so loyal. And Jim Tolman really was like his brother. I mean, he really was. They were hand in hand. There's nobody that Coach Tanner wanted, by his side more than Jim Tolman. There's no doubt about that. He was certainly his right-hand man, and I couldn't imagine Coach Tolman working with anybody else but Ray. And so, yeah, I can certainly understand that Coach Tanner's probably taking it really hard, with just how much he meant to him.
Well, we thank you for being on with us to share your memories and your thoughts about Coach Tolman, and say hello to Coach Holbrook for us. We'll try to get him on here soon to talk about the class that you guys have finished up with all the transition of players going out and players coming in. So we'll catch up with him on that, and enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll see you down there real soon.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Sounds good, Phil. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys, as always.
You got it, sir. Thank you very much. All right, Monty Lee, some great memories there, Bergie. Some great thoughts, some great memories about Jim Tolman and what he did for that baseball program.
Monty Lee is a really good storyteller. And he's made a very, very good career out of baseball. But if he ever wants to come over and do some radio, he'd be great with us. Because some of the stories he tells are just fabulous. And I can see Jim Tolman going to recruit a kid out of the concession stand.
Well, that was part of the
sum
trade.
Up his whole career.
that was part of the trade of the plumber to Charleston. We're getting Coach Lee from Charleston to come in. That's the deal to be made.
When I was in high school, my coach liked to say, "You don't rise to low expectations." And that's just always stuck with me. So with the help of my lottery-funded life scholarship, I was able to get a degree in secondary education. Now it's my turn to invest in my athletes, the same way my coaches did for me. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll do the same for someone else.
Better coaches means a better South Carolina. And a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit SCEducationLottery.com/betteryou.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Effective training is not just about lifting heavier weight. It is about producing force with control. The Tsunami Bar was developed in 2012 to enhance high-intensity workouts while helping reduce joint stress. Its flexible design creates controlled oscillation, requiring your muscles to stabilize and work together throughout each movement. This promotes greater muscle activation, improved balance, and stronger functional performance. Tsunami Bar Sports is committed to continuous improvement. delivering dynamic training tools for individuals at every fitness level. Whether you are focused on long-term strength, injury prevention, or improving rotational stability for sports like golf, Tsunami Bar Training supports total body performance. Discover more at TsunamiBarSports.com. Visit TsunamiBarSports.com. That's TsunamiBarSports.com.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Time for recruiting here on Sports Talk, brought to you by our good friends over at Seawell's. I bet you Coach Toman, I bet you he paid a visit or two to Seawell's over time there, because they didn't have the – not sure they had the buffet back in his day, but he might have been over there for, like, banquets and, other events for sure. Yeah, I'm sure he had some good Seawell's back in the day. You don't need to delay. You need to contact Seawell's to help you out with your big event that needs the very best in the catering business at their location, which is now inside the state fairgrounds, or they'll come to your location, as they always have. Just ring them up at 803-771-7385 for direct contact and information, or online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. That's SeawellsCateringSC.com. All right, 2028 offensive lineman Sam Walker, 6'5", 290, Carrollton, Georgia. He's not messed around with his recruiting process. After processing multiple offers, he named the top 3, South Carolina, Clemson, and Georgia Tech. He's been to all 3. He plans to visit each one again for a game this season. He also had offers from the like of UCLA, Miami, Kentucky, Texas A&M, LSU, Kansas, Mississippi State, North Carolina, Nebraska, Virginia Tech, Arkansas, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Auburn, Florida, and Alabama. But the other 3, consistency paid out for them with him. The communication was important. He had good communication with all of them. They've told him he can play anywhere on the offensive line, but he'd prefer to play tackle. He says tackle's where he's just more comfortable. He can move in space. And Georgia Tech has told him that he'd start wherever he felt the most comfortable. He went to his first Clemson game in the 8th grade against when the Tigers played Charleston Southern. He was back last season for Florida State. Then he worked out for the line coaches, Luke and Kramer, in a camp in early June, and he really fell in love with Clemson, he said. They taught him some things he didn't know about, technique, footwork, etc., and they made him feel wanted. He was at USC last season for the Alabama game, where he saw his former teammate, Vicari Swain, play for the Gamecocks. USC line coaches Clements and Smith have been working him hard to get him to Columbia. He says their relationship is very strong. He can see himself fitting in with their offense. He did not camp at USC this summer. He also camped at Kentucky and Georgia. However, the school he's visited the most is Georgia Tech, and Brent Key, a former offensive lineman and offensive line coach for the Yellow Jackets, they're doing all they can to keep him in state. He said, quote, out of the 3, I would say number 1 is probably Georgia Tech. I know assistant line coach Brandon Torrey. We always chop it up on the phone. Every time I go down there, it always is a great time, end quote. So he's been to games there. He went to a spring practice. And he will be back at Georgia Tech for Colorado and Tennessee games, USC for Georgia and Mississippi State, and Clemson for the Miami game. No firm date yet for committing, looking at a period of time late in the season or when he's taking his official visits after the season. So keeping an eye on that situation with that big man out of Georgia. And South Carolina is one of the favorites right now with 2028 wide receiver Zion Robinson, 6'1", 175 of Powder Springs, Georgia. He also likes Tennessee, Missouri, Florida, and Ole Miss. And Hammond linebacker Hugh Manning committed to the Richmond Spiders. There you go. That is recruiting for now here on Sports Talk, brought to you by our good friends over at Seawell's. Okay, it's time to catch up on NASCAR. We will do that after the break. Josh Harris will be joining us because it's getting hot in the PD, and it's getting close to race time at Darlington. Talk about that and more in NASCAR coming up.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy overnight, showers through midnight possible. Our low drops to 73. Tomorrow's a clone of today. Mostly cloudy skies. Solid chance for afternoon and evening storms. And again, the high is 89. Low 90s for our highs the rest of the week. About a 30 to 40% chance we get more afternoon downpours. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family-owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
In either. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities on Sunday arrested a man who was walking the grounds and appeared to be monitoring security planning at President Trump's California golf course 2 days ahead of the president's visit. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department said the man was taking photos and video and had a 16-round magazine with ammunition in his pocket. They recovered a loaded pistol in his car. A 37-year-old Spokane man charged with intentionally setting a wildfire that's destroyed hundreds of buildings in and around Washington state's second-largest city was questioned by law enforcement about 2 different blazes last year, although he wasn't charged in either. Aaron F. Farinacci was arrested Monday and booked on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire. More details at srnnews.com.
Are you tired of that dripping faucet driving you crazy? Is your drain doing more of a gurgle than a flow? Don't despair. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is here to save your day. Serving our community as locally owned plumbing experts, Franklin Plumbing tackles everything from minor leaks to major clogs. And we're talking fast, friendly, reliable service. They respect your home. They respect your wallet. Josh and his team offer upfront pricing, and that's important. This team I'm talking about, they're fully licensed. They're insured technicians. They're ready for any plumbing crisis that you might encounter. Whether it's routine maintenance, a stubborn blockage, or a total plumbing overhaul, they'll get the job done right the first time. They've been out to my home, my brother's home, even his business. I'm comfortable, very comfortable, bragging on Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Stop letting plumbing problems disrupt your life. Call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning today and experience the difference that true expertise makes. Visit their website, franklinplumbing.sc.com, or give them a call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Groucho's Deli is the Midland's most loved, historic, and awarded deli and has been for decades, serving trademark subs like the STP Dipper with melty Swiss over roast beef, turkey, and bacon bits on a soft sub roll and served with Groucho's famous 45 sauce. Come into any of our 8 Midlands locations and see for yourself or pick up with fast, convenient, and friendly service at Grouchos.com or on the Groucho's app and sign up for the Groucho's Rewards and Birthday Brownie Club.
Discover the seamless blend of comfort and style with Lexington Discount Homes. With over 30 years of excellence in the housing industry, our focus is on delivering your dream home with unparalleled customer service. Explore a variety of designs tailored to meet any preference and budget. Drop by our showroom at 1847 Augusta Highway to witness the craftsmanship of a Lexington home firsthand, or explore online through a comprehensive virtual tour at lexingtondiscounthomes.com. Choose comfort, choose style, choose Lexington Discount Homes.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
Craving a little Louisiana in the heart of South Carolina?
Louisiana Purchase in Irmo is where Cajun and Creole flavors bring the bayou to your table.
From bold Southern classics to authentic Cajun favorites, we're serving up comfort food with a kick.
We offer catering, including charcuterie for office parties, cozy gatherings, or big celebrations.
Right next door is Cypress Market, your new favorite stop for gourmet meats and cheeses, a to-go cooler, and a collection of Southern gifts you won't find anywhere else.
Louisiana Purchase and Cypress Market. Good food, good company, and a whole lot of Southern comfort.
Visit LouisianaPurchase.com.
Darlington County. We can't play that song anymore that we used to play, the official intro song. We learned that we were violating music rights or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Government.
Now
I got a phone call.
Could play it over the air.
We got a phone call from
Josh?
Bruce Springsteen himself saying, can't play my
the
song.
FBI reached out to me in the studio and they interviewed me. Said nope, can't play that song.
I said
anymore.
it was your fault. I was hoping they take you away. So anyway,
Well, we actually can play it over the air, correct? It's where we get on our social media sites, we run into trouble.
that's true. It gets blocked. So with that, we've gone to something a little more vanilla, and that's why we don't have our Darlington County song to lead in to our visit with Josh Harris, president of not Darlington County, but Darlington Raceway. Welcome in, sir. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, don't give me a new job yet, please.
One's enough, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
One's enough.
Especially this time of year. How much does activity, it's August now, as you well know, how much does the activity pick up around your place this month?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it really starts to ramp up. I mean, we've got vendors out here helping us get things ready. We go around, we check all the AC in the buildings. We're repairing some asphalt, not on the racetrack surface, but around the grounds. Just doing a lot of, kind of last minute maintenance, touch up things to get ready. Getting all the grass mowed, parking lots striped, and campgrounds set up. And, there's a long checklist that we have to complete to get ready over the next 30 days or so before we welcome the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the Cup Series to tackle the track too tough to paint.
Are you starting to feel from your seat kind of the excitement build toward the weekend?
Yes. These days, wake up and, there's a number of things already on my mind by the time I wake up. So get into the office, get things going, the planning and preparation, the excitement just naturally builds. We've got a number of things coming up where we'll be around the state in different areas promoting the race. So that's exciting as well. A fun part of the job to get away from the track and tell everybody about Darlington and why you need to be at the Cookout Southern 500 weekend.
Do you guys have another Darlington Day at the Governor's Mansion a plan for this month or something else here in the Midlands area?
We're not going to the Governor's Mansion, but we will be going to Patriots Point down in Charleston area next Wednesday morning. So the governor's going to meet us down there. We thought it'd be a cool place, especially with the celebration of America 250 this year, and obviously the connection there was something that we've tried to do every summer. Two summers ago, we went to Myrtle Beach. Last year, we went up to Greenville. This year, we're getting down into the Charleston area. So want to make sure that everybody in all parts and all corners of the state know about Darlington and know what's coming up ahead of us. So we'll be down there next Wednesday morning on the 12th. Governor McMaster is going to be there with us, looking to line up, finalize a driver coming in with us as well. And then this week on Thursday evening, we're going to be over at the Columbia Fireflies for Darlington Raceway night. We got Connor Zillich coming in. He's going to do some autographs, throw out the first pitch. So it's an exciting time, and looking forward to getting around and talking about Darlington.
That's super. That's super. So as we head into August, the races are counting down towards the playoffs. Of course, you're the first playoff race. Right now, Austin Cindric sitting in the 16th spot. And he is 38 points ahead of Ryan Priest at 17, and then Eric Jones is 18th, Kozlowski's 19th. And my point is here, years past recently, somebody below that cut line could just win a race and get into the playoffs, but not now. You got to watch these standings, got to watch these points. How many guys below the line right now, the 16 cut line, how many of those guys do you think are legitimate candidates to move up and get into the playoffs among the top 16?
Yeah, I think any of the drivers right now between about 11th or 12th all the way to maybe 21st or so have as good a shot as anybody. I think we've seen that while winning your in is no longer part of the equation, winning a race is still worth a lot of points. It's, you can rack up about 60 points in a race if you win. So there's a lot on the line still with a win. And if you're in that range, kind of that 11, 12 to about 20, 21, I think you cannot feel secure right now with 4 more races to go as we head down the final stretch leading into Darlington. So it's going to be an interesting race to keep your eye on. The guys that are sitting there and, that 10th, 11th, 12th, right above the cut line are going to be trying to protect their position. And you got those guys in 17th through 20th, 21st that are looking to improve their performance here after the week off. And that, to me, that's going to be a big storyline as we head into the start of the chase at Darlington.
Josh, I wanted to circle back to something you and Phil were chatting about a couple of moments ago with regards to getting out around the state and promoting Darlington and reminding everybody how important the race weekend is to our state. But something you guys have done, I think, a really nice job over the years, and I think probably most NASCAR tracks do as well, is promoting your races to younger fans and certainly reaching out to the college students. How have you seen maybe that promotion over the years sort of grow at Darlington and help maybe start generating a younger audience to NASCAR?
Yeah, it's especially critical. Not only kids and families, we want to come out and have a great time, and there's lots to do and compelling ticket offers there. But we've made a dedicated effort towards reaching that college market. We've got a $30 college ticket. You can come out to the Cookout Southern 500, sit with other college students and have a good time, and that's what it's about. We want to show them what the live event experience is like coming to a NASCAR race and coming to a NASCAR race specifically at Darlington. Our numbers have grown over the years. I will tell you the one thing that has had a little bit of a negative impact at times has been the start of college football season and the football schedule. Last year, as an example, with Carolina starting the season on the day of the Southern 500 at 3 o'clock leading into the start of the race, it was not very good for us in terms of getting a lot of those college students. But 2 years ago, we had a really strong crowd. Looking forward to that again. We're reaching out to students all across the state, certainly over into Clemson, but also right here in our backyard, the students in Columbia, heading over to Conway and Coastal Carolina. So we're going to have a big group of college kids. Want them to come out, have a good time, and experience NASCAR.
And we found out today that the Clash is going back next year. It appears NASCAR announcing it's going back to Daytona to serve as the kickoff to Speed Weeks down there, which I think is great. And then, of course, the Daytona 500 will be 2 weeks after that. And then, Josh, looking at the final race at Daytona at the end of the summer on in, I guess their fall race, if you will, is going to be on Saturday, August 28th. Can we glean from that, even though they haven't set the chase for next year, that you guys are going to once again kick off the chase, or is there the possibility you might actually be the second race in the chase next year?
Yeah, I think, you take a look at it. The one thing we know next year is the season's going to start a week later. The Daytona 500 has traditionally started or run the Sunday right before President's Day. And with the NFL pushing their schedule back and the Super Bowl now being on that Sunday, the Daytona 500 moves back a week. So I think with Daytona announcing that date, I feel really secure about Labor Day weekend and Darlington and the Cookout Southern 500. How that falls with regards to the chase in the regular season, we'll see how the rest of the schedule shakes out, and hopefully we'll be able to announce some dates here in the near future as well. But I'm excited about this year being back in the chase. 2 years ago we were the last regular season race, so we've kind of been right around that line, either kicking off the chase or playoffs or being the last part of the regular season. I think at the end of the day, it's the Cookout Southern 500. It's a crown jewel event. It's one every driver wants to be at, and it's a Labor Day tradition. And as long as we keep those things, that's most important to me.
Absolutely. It means so much to the state and to the race fan. All right, very quickly, just some notebook items to check off. Who is doing your national anthem?
We will have a military national anthem, working on the 282nd Army Band coming up.
Nice.
Still finalizing some details, but it looks like that's gonna happen.
Flyover?
Feeling good about that as well. Feeling really good about having some fast jets do a flyover. Obviously, we're paying close attention to everything going on in the Middle East, and those things can, unfortunately have an impact, but right now things are looking good.
Yeah, let's hope they're available and not being used for something else. How about any sort of musical lead-in to the race, like pre-race entertainment, some kind of musical guest or anything like that, a band, a singer?
We will not have a concert this year. Last year we were fortunate to pick up one of the Busch Light Summer Concert Series stops, and they like to move those around to the different tracks each summer. So we will not have a pre-race concert, but we'll have a full slate of activities taking place on the pre-race experience stage. We'll have a number of driver Q&As. We'll have some highlights of the tradition and history of the Cookout Southern 500. So more to come on some of those details, but it'll be a great lead-in to the start of the race at 5 o'clock.
All right. Last thing, are we honoring anybody, any individual for the race who'll be like in the pace car or anything like that?
We haven't landed on an honorary pace car driver or rider yet.
Mm-hmm.
A Cookout being the entitlement sponsor, they usually will name the Grand Marshal to give the command to start the engines. Rue Reeves, who's part of the family, the founding family of Cookout, has done that the last couple of years. So we're waiting to see if Rue's going to be back or if they've got somebody else lined up. But that's some of those things still come down to last couple of weeks to check everybody's schedule, see who's going to be around and who might be at the racetrack.
All right, last thing, have you gotten the word from Goodyear yet about the tire they're going to bring to Darlington for the playoffs?
Not anticipating a tire change. They've worked through the intermediate tracks throughout last year and early part of this year. I think we've landed on a pretty solid tire, and they haven't done any testing of a new tire at Darlington since the spring race. So I'm expecting it to be the same.
What are you talking about?
Bunch of them.
Bergie, that's a good question. That's a good racing question. You have to know what the tire compound is.
Just bring a bunch
All
of
I know
Goodyear
is the tires are going to wear because it's
exactly
asphalt in Darlington, and those drivers are going to be hunting pit road every chance they can to get a fresh set.
I love it.
Doesn't matter what compound field, they need 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles every time.
After about, 30 laps maybe?
If they can get that far, yeah.
That's right. They're not going to be coming in and waiting on fuel. I tell you that they're going to be coming in so often. The fuel man's going to be the first one finished while they try to change all 4 tires every opportunity they get.
Typically for the 500, how many sets do they get?
I believe they start the race with 13 sets plus they get to carry over 1 from practice. And the other exciting thing is NASCAR is implementing. Starting this weekend at Iowa, Cup Series practice has been a total of 50 minutes in the past, but it's been broken up into 2 25-minute groups. Starting this week and continuing through the rest of the season, everywhere except Daytona and Talladega, that 50-minute practice session will be open for all cars. So all cars will be eligible to go on track for the entire 50-minute practice session. A little bit of what we were accustomed to seeing in years past, and one of the things I think our fans have asked for, the teams will certainly benefit from, and getting a little bit extra time to fine-tune those cars and get them ready for the race.
Great stuff from you, sir. We thank you for being
Thanks,
patient
Josh.
and answering all the questions, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it as always.
You got it. Thank you so much. All right, Josh Harris, president of Darlington. Yeah, there you go.
To ask him. We need to ask him what kind of tribute they have planned for Kyle Busch, too.
Yeah, we can do that next week.
Yep.
We still have a few more Tuesday visits before the race, so.
Because I would imagine Darlington's going to do a very nice job at paying tribute to him.
Yeah, excellent point. I would think they would. Okay, we're going to come back and talk a little more football. And we're going to talk a little NC State with Dave Doran, who's still there, by the way. Be right back.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
Looking for thrills? Then welcome to the South Carolina Education Lottery, where excitement's the name of the game, and every chance at a win
Just one more. Come on, so close.
comes with the chance of a whiff.
Ugh. Well, no biggie.
Nicely done. You handled it like a pro. Because when the stakes start getting too real and you find yourself playing for more than fun, it might be time to take a break.
Good point.
Playing for fun makes you a better player, and a better player is a better you. Learn more at SCEducationLottery.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Well, NC State fans are always hoping, Bergie, that this year is the year for their football team with Dave Doran. You know, he's done it's not like he's done a terrible job, but they're usually pretty competitive. They won 8 games last year, 6 games a year before that, 9 before that, 8 before that, 9 before that. So they've had a good run with him, but he's going into his 14th year. I don't think he's won a championship, has he?
No, he talks more about how he's getting tired of finishing second because then usually it's to Clemson, but he does talk about their success, and you're right. This has been a fairly consistent program, just hasn't found a way to get over that hump and pull in an ACC title.
Today I get to talk about what we do well, and I think having staying power, being a consistent winner, we've won the second most number of games in the ACC. In the last 6 years, we've won the second most number of conference games and non-conference games. And with that being said, I'm sick of being second. And these guys know that. You know, we're here to do more. And that's what drives us. It's the competitive spirit of winning. And the brotherhood that comes along with that is so special. And this is it's a tough business, you know. I mean, it's not an equal lineup anymore from conference to conference, from school to school. Some people have more of this, some people have more of that. But what we have is a bunch of guys that have a huge edge, and they're tough. And I have so much respect for the leadership of our team and the way these guys have bought into running the accountability part of what we do. You know, it's not just the coaches that get on these guys anymore. They get on each other. and they lead the way when it comes to how things should look. And if you want to be in that conversation at the end of the year, a lot of things have to go your way, and you got to make a lot of those things go your way yourself. And there's a lot of self-inflicted things in football. As you all know, it's a contact sport. It's a rough and rugged sport. You can lose players from time to time to injuries, but you can also beat yourself in a lot of ways. And I think that's the one thing that this team is really excited about, is going out and earning our opportunity to be special at the end of the season and trying to keep that week to week to week to week. And I think that's one of the hardest things when you're a competitor, is being the best that you can be every single competition. Coming off of a real high win, coming off of a real tough loss, it doesn't matter. The next one matters the most. And trying to keep these staff, coaches, trainers, strength coaches, nutritionists, players, you name it, in that mode of one at a time. It's an awesome place. And if you haven't been to game day at the Carter, you're missing out. 27 straight packed houses, and we can't wait to get back into our stadium with our fans. And the city of Raleigh, I mean, what a year with the Hurricanes, and so proud of Coach Brendamore and their team, and the city, and just how we celebrated safely. And that city partied its butt off, and had fun, and the enthusiasm and the spirit. And they can't wait for football to start. Our crowd is antsy, and I think excited that we're playing in Virginia instead of Brazil, because they get to be a part of it now and go tailgate, But this is a team that has a lot of new parts. I mean, there's 50 new players. We'll talk about them as you ask questions. Some unique pieces of it, and I know CJ will talk about it as well. When you lose good players, you have an opportunity as a coach to go recruit good players. And so we lost some, and we've added some. Some of them come in with lifelong relationships where the chemistry that him and JoJo Trader have, or CJ and Davion Goss have, it's unique because they grew up playing Pop Warner football together. So yeah, you lost a good player. Well, we added a good one, and they've known each other longer. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But we have a lot of talent coming back, and it's about proving who you are on that field. And I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, is seeing the work that these guys have put in, getting on the grass with them and putting it all together. And in short time, because we play week 0, as you guys know. And it's right around the corner. This is such an incredible opportunity, for this football team. We're one of 2 schools in the ACC that can say they have a third-year starter at quarterback. And I think, as rare as it is to have a head coach for 14 years, it's just as rare now to have a quarterback for 3.
Okay, there you go. NC State coach Dave Doran, and they do open up against Virginia. Not going to be in South America, going to be here in the States at Virginia. No, where are they playing that game? Is it at Virginia?
It's in Charlottesville.
They moved it back to Virginia on August 29th. Very quickly, the U.S. Women's Amateur got underway today. Best I could tell, we've got 4 players from the state in the field. College of Charleston's Molly Hardwick, +4, tied for 82nd. Clemson's Staley Fields, +5, that's a 77, tied for 97th. Rebecca Lee from Furman, 6 over 78, 113th, tied. And Dawn Woodard from Greenville, who they say is like the oldest player in the field, an 88 for her, 16 over, tied for 155th. Anna Iwanga from Japan at 5 under, 67, is your leader. Madison DeBeja, 3 under, 69. She's from America. And Jai-In Lin, 3 under par, 69. And she is from Chinese Taipei. Also, a couple of text messages here. Where they at? A couple of text messages from the 803. Phil, Coach Toman was Gamecock baseball. He will be missed so much. Those special days at Sarge Fry Field were really special. Rest in peace, Coach Toman. And Bobby in Georgetown, I'm watching Little League Softball World Series. Can't believe you guys don't watch. This is definitely best thing on ESPN.
Bobby, props to you.
and I forgot to tell you guys, my grandson somehow managed to get tickets to Packers-Panthers at Lambeau Field for his dad for Father's Day. Biggest Packers fan I know. All right.
Phil can't even get those, and he owns the team.
I am an owner, and we're going to win it all this year. I'm firing everybody. And that'll do it. Thank you, Plummer. Thank you, Bergie. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.